Hey, boys and girls, it's the Melon Man here, and I'm just going to record a quick message. No, this is not going to be a quick message. This is going to be a lengthier message. Um, I'm I'm going to try and capture um, in real time as the inspiration comes to me. It's a little after 2 in the morning. And right now, I'm just up working on my inspiration. I'm working on my inspiration. So I am recording my spiritual transmission. And my teaching, I think the best way for me to sum it up in 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 a word would be yoga, because yoga is the union of body, mind, and spirit, and that's basically what I'm teaching. I'm teaching the union, the uniting of my body, mind, and spirit. I am reconciling what has happened in my life over the last 3 years. That's where the Melon Man came from. I was following the traditional mainstream stuff for a lifetime. I'm 47 now, and I was in pain. I was following the keto diet. I was following the protein and vegetables, plant-based nutrition, information, taking the vitamins and the minerals, and exercising daily. I was even meditating. Doing everything: yoga, exercise, breath work, and still dealing with chronic pain in my life, gaining weight, athlete's foot, digestive issues, sleep problems that were medicated, that could not be solved. Like, I had athlete's foot since I was 15 years old. The pain was chronic, that I couldn't walk with my family, with my dog. So and I'm only 47. So why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And a lot of people clients said, oh, it's old age. It's old age. But I didn't want to accept that. And I was looking for a solution. And I was also looking for a solution to reconcile all of the trauma that had shown up in my life, in my entire life. I've had a life that's just had kind of one trauma after another trauma, after another trauma, after another trauma, after another trauma. And I'm trying to pull all of that together and, make sense out of all of it. And what is my life trying to say to me? And, my background of spiritual study has led me to believe that everything happens to us for a reason. There is no randomness in the universe. I don't believe that there's randomness in the universe. So it's not my teaching that things happen to us by luck or by fluke. Everything happens for a reason. Our life is trying to teach us something. There's a message that's coming through to all of us. It's coming from the source. The Creator is always trying to love us. The Creator is constant light. The Creator, all the teachings of Spirit say the Creator is good, and I agree. I believe that the Creator is good. So if the Creator is good, then why do we have bad things happening in our lives? Why did I have a life that was filled with trauma and pain? Why was my life being sent down that path? And how to reconcile that, right? Now, if you look at religion kind of tells us that it's because you're bad. That's why bad things are happening. So you have to try to be more good. And then the light will change the way it looks upon you. That's what religion teaches us. Well, that doesn't really make sense. And from my application for years, I found that it wasn't fulfilling me, that there had to be more. And 3 years ago, while I was looking for the answer, like, what do I need to learn? What do I need to know? I fell into the work of Anthony Robbins, which I followed very deeply, very, very deeply, like everything that he put out there on video I watched. Abraham Hicks, everything that they put out on video, I watched. I mean, I came from a background of Christianity. I deeply followed Buddhism, and I looked into Islam, and I looked into the Tao deeply. For certain, I was inspired by the work of Deepak Chopra, by Eckhart Tolle, by Wayne Dyer. 3 years ago, I bumped into the book by Dr. Arnold Ehret, The Mucusless Diet. You know, all of these things have inspired me deeply. The video recorded messages of Dr. Robert Morse, the video recorded work of Dr. Sebi, the written work of Professor Hilton Hotima. For sure, I can't leave out the New Testament of Jesus Christ. I can't leave that out. I can't leave out the life and teachings of the Buddha. I can't now not talk about how much I've been led by the 7 Hermetic principles, the spiritual principles of life. And most recently, my biggest influence most recently has been the Kabbalah. And of course, I mean, my background is kinesiology. I studied at McMaster kinesiology and psychology. I've been a personal trainer for 30 years and a life coach, and helping people change their lives for the last 30 years. And all of that experience, all of the time watching and helping others and seeing what stops them and what blocks them. And, you know, trying to share what I've learned in my life. This is what I teach, what I've learned in my life. And I call it yoga, the union of body, mind, and spirit. And you know, I call it that because we are body, mind, and spirit, right? We just can't deny that there is spirit here, that at the root of this, there is intelligence, there is organization. The spirit exists here. We're not just a collection of cells. We're not mechanical, right? We have the cellular bit, the body bit, the physical bit, and then we have the spirit bit, that intangible spirit bit, right? So from one end, we are body, that physical bit on one end. We are body. And on the other end, right, we are spirit, right? So it's kind of like a continuum. Body on one end and spirit on the other end. We can't deny that. On opposite ends, we are body, a physical bit, and we are spirit, right? We can't deny our spirit. It's the unlimited, infinite bit of us, right? It's the bit of us that is of highest frequency, right? Quantum mechanics teaches us that everything is a frequency, a vibration, right? The vibrational footprint that we leave is what we attract back to us, right? That's the teaching of frequency and vibration, right? Last week in my yoga class, I was teaching about the first spiritual law. And the first spiritual principle is that all is mental. The all is in everything. Everything is in the all. And quantum physics, science, kind of backs this up. Quantum physics talks about the field. Everything arises from the field. In quantum physics, they say the field is the reality. And the third dimension is kind of the illusion, right? Everything arises from the field. Everything comes from the all. God, if you will, the spirit. We are made in the image of God, the Christian teaching, the Bible, right? We're bringing together spirit, body, mind, and spirit. We are spirit on one end, the most intangible bit of us, the highest frequency, the electrical current. I mean, if you die, the current will leave. Well, what's that? What's that bit that leaves? That's the spirit, right? And what's left? The collection of cells. They're still here, but they're not alive anymore. You know, to quote Hilton Hotima, the body never lived. It was always the spirit that gave rise to the body, right? The body never lived, according to Professor Hilton Hotima. It was always the spirit. You know, my mentor, Elatom Elamine, doesn't eat or doesn't drink. He says the spirit doesn't need anything. That's what Hilton Hotima teaches. The spirit doesn't need anything. The body can live without food. Dr. Eric, you know, when I found out the mucusless diet, his healing system says that we need to fast and then eat fruit. Fast and then eat fruit. This is how we clear the obstructions from the body. The obstructions. My learning over the last 3 years of applying Dr. Eric's work in my life and helping lots of people to lose 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds in 6 months. I've seen that happen using these rules, using these laws. That the body heals itself. This is what I have learned. You know, I used to think that it was the fruit that healed me, that it was the fasting that healed me. But now I recognize that it's not the fruit, it's not the fasting. It's that there is a healing power or spirit power or passion or love energy that's within us. And that energy, if treated properly, if encouraged, if lifted up, if invited up into the life. Intention is a huge aspect of this. You've got to seek it. You've got to seek it. What you seek, you will find, right? What you focus on grows. If you're intending to find this information, you can find it. You will find it. You've got to go searching. You've got to look for it to get it. Part of us is body. Part of us is spirit, right? There is a physical dense bit. That's the body. The most dense bit of us is the bone, right? Collagen, right? Protein. The most dense bit is protein. Protein and fat. This is the keto diet argument, right? That's why they tell us eat protein and fat, but use logic. Elephants don't eat protein, yet they build huge, muscular, strong bodies. The ox, be as strong as an ox, but an ox doesn't eat protein. Look at the male silverback, a huge, heavily muscled body, but he doesn't eat protein. He eats fruits, right? Our closest relatives are the chimpanzee, the orangutan, and the apes, the great apes, the primates. They eat fruits, right? The human is meant to eat fruits. It's the fruits that are alive. Live foods bring energy into the body. Exercise brings energy into the body. Thoughts and words focused appropriately bring energy and life into the body. Exercise, nutrition, thought and word, and I think meditation is the foundation, because meditation is when we meet with the spirit. It's in meditation that the spirit and the body and the mind are in union. This is yoga, meditation. Yoga is moving meditation, breathing and moving, focusing your intention, focusing your mind. It takes focus to heal and change your life. Yoga requires focus, intention. I'm intending to heal my body and life. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm sharing this with my customers. This is my passion, my deepest joy. This is what's right inside of me. This inspiration that's coming up, that's changing my life, that's healing my life. I'm trying to make the most sense of it. I'm trying to apply it best into my life and trying to teach my customers, trying to teach you how to heal your life the same way I have, and making sense of it by teaching it through the 7 Hermetic principles, I think is the best way to teach it, because we're talking about spirit energy. Now, the first Hermetic principle is all is mental. The universe is mental. It exists within the mind of the all. It's in the mind of God that we came from, that we are in, right? Just as we can't create something in our reality without first getting it into our mind, without first saying it, intending it with our lips, with our voice. Our voice has a physical tuning that it does in our bodies and lives. And that's why it's so important to have goals, clear goals of what you want to create. Gratitude. What do you love? What you love is what's deepest within you. Your goals. How would you feel if you accomplished your weight loss goal? When you think about that, that's what you love. You would love to lose 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds, wouldn't you? That's what you love. That's your passion. That's what's inside of you. That's your spirit. That's your essence. That's your root. That's what you love. The spirit is love. Everything on this planet comes from the spirit. Everything is spirit. All is mental. The all is a spirit being. God, the all. It's a being of spirit, a being of light and love. That's what's created us. That's what we come from. That's what we are. That's what everything here is. And if you want to heal or change your life, you've got to get into alignment with that reality. That's the mindset that you've got to grasp. You can't heal yourself if you're living in a broken paradigm. You've got to change your mind to heal your life. You've got to change your mind to fix your life. Understand that the Spirit is always loving us. The Spirit is always giving us a constant light, a constant support. Now, the Hermetic principles teach that everything is frequency and vibration. For instance, hot and cold are temperature. They're temperatures. They're one thing, temperature. Temperatures at different degrees, right? Everything is a frequency and a vibration. If I turn down the frequency of love, I get hate. If I turn up the frequency of hate, I get love. If I turn down the temperature of the water, I get ice. If I raise up the temperature of the water high enough, I get steam, vapor, right? Things change the way they act or react in the world depending on the frequency. The frequency that I emit is what comes back to me. It's the law, the universal law of karma. I get what I give. I get what I give. The frequency, the footprint that I put out is what comes to me. Everything is a frequency, a vibration. What I put out comes back to me. If I want to change my life forever, I need to change the way I interact with my life. I need to change my footprint. I need to change my frequency or my vibration. I need to change my mind, right? It's body. I am body on one end. I am spirit on the other end. And then I am mind in the middle. The mind is the go-between between my body and my spirit. It's the mind that dictates what happens. It's the mind that's the union between my body and my spirit. It's the mind that's the between the body, the physical, tangible bit, the spirit, the ether, the intangible bit. You can't grab it. You can't understand it. People always want to understand the spirit. How do you understand it? We can't understand it. The true teaching is that it is above us. It is of higher frequency. The body, the physical, the 3-dimension is the physical. It's of lower frequency. And then mind is of higher frequency. Like mind is something, thoughts are things you can't really touch. So you got body, which is dense material. You got mind. And then you got spirit on this end, which is even higher frequency than mind, right? And imagine that there's 7 levels. The Hermetic teaching, the second law, second Hermetic principle is as above, so below. As above, so below. That everything is the same. All is spirit. All comes from spirit. So even the physical body is physical spirit, right? All comes from the field in quantum physics, right? We come from the spirit. We've been manifest into the physical world. So the physical bit of us is the most dense bit of lowest frequency, and the spirit bit is of highest frequency, and the mind is in the middle. The mind is in the middle. It's the go-between, right? Well, this, as above, so below, this is the second Hermetic principle, the second spiritual law, as above, so below. And the teaching of the Hermetic principles is there's 7 levels. 7 levels between each of the planes. So 7 levels between the mind and the spirit, and 7 levels between the mind and the body, right? So in my mind, these 7 levels here, these are the emotions and the physical bits of the body. So if you can imagine the body, the most dense being the bone and the cartilage and the ligaments. And then you got maybe the tendons and the muscles and the skin, right? These physical bits of us. And then we move into the emotions. Now the emotions are like the thoughts coming into the physical, because a thought, you can't grasp it. How do you turn the thought into a physical? Well, you turn the thought into a physical with a feeling. When you think something, that thought has a frequency or a vibration, and that frequency or vibration is felt in the body as an emotion. Now you've got emotions of high frequency, and then you've got emotions of lower frequency, right? So kind of imagine 7 levels of emotions. I don't know for sure, but the Hermetic principles teach that there's 7 levels, and as above, so below. That what is going on below is the same above. It's all consistent. It all arises from the same stuff. It's all spirit manifest in the physical form, but it's all the same. As above, so below. As within, so without. Same inside, same outside. All is the same. The universe exists within the mind of the all. The all is in everything. The spirit is in everything. So it's consistent. So 7 levels below, 7 levels above. So it kind of makes sense to me that there's even 7 levels of emotion. That at the most dense bit, you've got fear, anger, frustration, anxiety, worry, sadness, depression, sadness, sorrow. And then you've got like indifference. And then maybe you've got like, low levels of joy, happiness, bliss, euphoria, ecstasy, absolute health, high vigor, energy, high energy, love, unconditional love. This is of highest frequency, and fear of lowest frequency. Imagine it's kind of just a continuum. That fear on one end is really love that's been reduced in frequency, right? So it starts in the mind as a thought. It comes into the body as an emotion. That's how we take the thought and we put it into the body, into a physical bit, emotion. And then from emotion, we come into skin and tendons and muscles and cartilage and ligaments and bone at the most dense bit. So make 7 levels out of it, maybe 7 levels of physical and 7 levels of emotion. You don't really know. It's kind of, you're kind of left to reason it, but there is no like right and wrong. It's kind of, what does it mean to you? How is creation speaking to you? How is my message right now speaking to you? Right? We're all existing here, and the Spirit is above us, loving us, and it's trying to talk to us. Imagine that the Spirit is trying to teach us. It's trying to wake us up to realize that we have unlimited power. We have the power of Spirit within us, and we're not lack and limitation like we think. Like we've all got traumas and fears in us, in our lives. We're all trying to release trauma and fear from our life. We've all had things happen to us. Those physical traumas can be stuck inside of our bodies. Those fears, those frustrations, those angers can be stuck in our bodies, and they can be holding us back. This is the reality, is that we've all got trauma stuck in our bodies. We've all got emotion stuck in our bodies, low frequency emotion that needs to be released, right? Imagine that you think a thought, it comes into an emotion, and that emotion gets put into your body structurally, physically. Your body's building cells every single day. If you're thinking low frequency, low emotional stuff, that stuff gets built into the cells, and you build cells of low frequency, low vibration. And if you think thoughts of love and joy and happiness, of your goals, if you're thinking thoughts of what you're trying to accomplish, then that will be created inside the program of the cell, in the DNA, if you will, right? That it's laid down inside of your structure, how you're thinking. And if you want to heal or change your life, you've got to first change your mind. And that's how the body creates happy, healthy cells of high vibration inside of your body. It's through the mind that you create happy, healthy cells. It's through the mind that you create change in your life. It's through the mind that you take the Spirit, the unlimited power that's accessible to you, and bring it into the physical reality. It's the mind is the only way we can do that. Now, the teaching is that things that are above us, we can't really speak about. Like, I can't say for sure how the Spirit is. It's of higher frequency than me. I don't know what the Spirit is like. I can't speak about the spirit world. I don't know. If I say something about the spirit world, I'm just guessing. Nobody can talk about the Spirit unless they're like having some way to commune with the Spirit. I would say that would be meditation. Only beyond thought. Imagine that thoughts are just ideas that we have inside of our head. Words are just the way we think. We think in words. So if we're speaking, we're in thought. We're in the mind. And the teaching is that the spirit is not the mind. The spirit is of higher frequency than the mind. The spirit is of highest frequency, the all, the God, the spirit. What is it? The ether. It's of highest frequency. It's unconditional love. It's light and unconditional love. That's what it is. How do we get there? Well, we can't get there inside the mind. How do we borrow from our spirit? We are spirit and we are body. So there is a perfect, unconditional loving bit within us. And we need to spend time with it so that we can lift up our energy. We can lift up our energy with exercise. We can lift up our energy with choosing high energy foods, foods that are alive, like Dr. Eric talks about, Dr. Morris talks about, Dr. Sebi talks about, high energy foods. But beyond food, we've got the mind that can raise up our frequency. We can think high frequency thoughts, thoughts of love, thoughts of joy, thoughts of happiness. Or we can think low frequency thoughts, thoughts of anger, thoughts of frustration, revenge, and jealousy. These are lower frequency thoughts. So if we're walking around in our day and we're poor me this and poor me that, or this happened to me or that happened to me, and that's what we're thinking and talking about, well, what are we doing to our frequency and our vibration? And what do you think we're doing to our health? If we want to raise up our frequency and vibration and come closer to the loving bit, the spirit bit, the free, untangible bit of us, we're talking about moving to the highest frequency thoughts, the thoughts of love. And that's at the tip of the mind. The capacity of the mind is talking about what we love. And then spirit is above that. Well, how do you speak about spirit? You can't. You can't speak about spirit because there's no words to talk about the spirit. How do you talk about God? He's infinite, the all. How do you talk about the quantum field? You're talking about something that mathematics, maybe you can calculate it, maybe you can show it on the board, but how do you talk about it? There's no words for it. The teaching is there's no words. It's forbidden to speak about it because there's no words to speak about something that we can't see or touch or fathom. It's infinite. We are finite. It's infinite. So it can't fit within our brains. It can't fit within our minds. We're talking about something that doesn't fit within our minds. We can only infer some ideas about it because as above, so below. As within, so without. This is the spiritual teaching that we have. The second Hermetic principle. As above, so below. So below, as above. So what's going on in the mind and the body is what's going on in the spirit. There's 7 levels of spirit. The low levels of spirit and higher levels of spirit. We can just infer that. We don't know. It's a little bit of speculation, but it makes sense because of the laws that we have been given. The laws that we have been given. The true teachings. The true spiritual teachings that we have been given. Not the stuff we've been told that just ends up leaving us trapped, but the true spiritual teachings, the Hermetic principles, the Kabbalah, seem to me the true original teachings of spirit that exist. So the teaching goes that the spirit is constant white light. Love and white light is all that the spirit gives us. So if we're only getting constant white light and love from creation, then why is it that bad things happen? Right? And there's no way to really answer about the spirit for certain. But if you kind of meditate on the idea, this is what I come up with. This is what comes to me when I meditate upon this. Imagine that the spirit is trying to create something of physical reality. We don't know why. We can only speculate. But imagine that the spirit is this ether, and for whatever reason, it's inspired to create something. It wants to create something. It creates life. It creates life. And it creates life so that life can experience the physical world. We are the God. We are creation in physical. We are experiencing the pleasures of sight and sound and feeling and smell and taste. We're experiencing the physical. This is the creation of the all, the creation of God, the creation of the spirit, what's come from the field. We are, as what we know, the highest evolution, the highest frequency, the highest creation of the all. We are consciousness in physical form. We are the God experiencing the world. We are the spirit experiencing the physical world. That's what we are. Yoga is the union of body, mind, and spirit. Right? Healing our body, changing our lives forever means changing our footprint, our frequency, our vibration, so that we attract something else. What we put out is what we get back. Right? If we want to change our health for good, if we want to lose the weight for good, if we want to change our relationship, change our financial situation forever, we're talking about changing our frequency and vibration forever. We're talking about putting out a different frequency or vibration than what we're putting out. How do we raise up our frequency and vibration? Thought and word, exercise, nutrition, thought and word raises our frequency and vibration. Then we got to go beyond thought and word. What's beyond thought and word? What's beyond thought? The spirit exists between the thoughts. We get with the spirit when we stop thinking. When we get into the meditation, we go beyond the mind. The meditation is what takes us beyond the mind. It's the meditation that's what raises up our frequency. This is when we connect with the spirit. It's in the meditation that we heal ourselves. Fasting heals the body. Fruits heal the body. Exercise, mindset heals the body. But the true healing is within. The true healing is coming into contact with the spirit, connecting with the spirit, having a relationship with the spirit, having a relationship with ourselves, loving ourselves. Well, the teaching is that the spirit is love. The spirit is love and light. Well, if we be with ourselves, then we are being with the love and the light. We need to be with the love and the light. How do we be with ourselves? How do we be with the Spirit? How do we be with the love and the light? The Spirit exists between the thoughts. The Spirit exists between the thoughts. It's in the meditation that we are with the Spirit. The meditation is the foundation of healing. It's in the meditation that we are present. Eckhart Tolle, the power of now, in the present. Meditation is watching the breath. The Buddha, he sat under the Bodhi tree and watched his breath until he found enlightenment. He found enlightenment. What is that? He found the Spirit. He aligned himself with the Spirit. He came into unity with body, mind, and spirit. He found his yoga, and he taught Buddhism, came from his teachings. He was watching his breath. The breath brings us to the present. In the now, we are a collection of cells that are metabolizing, creating energy and keeping us alive. We are alive right now. That's what we are. Being present is watching the breath. And that's what brings us to the moment. Not thinking, because then we're in the mind. No thoughts, no words. Beyond thought and word, we're with the Spirit. This is being present, right? Presence has no thought. It just is, right? When I'm speaking to you right now, I'm not thinking about what's coming. I'm just opening myself up and allowing the Spirit to speak through me, right? I'm just being, right? It's like a meditation. It's like a talking meditation, right? Suspending thought and getting into that quiet space. That is being with the Spirit. That is being with the Spirit within you. That is being with you. That is spending time with yourself. That is having a relationship with yourself. That is loving yourself. You are love. If you're spending time with yourself, you are loving you. You're being with you. You're present with you. You are love. You are loving yourself when you meditate, when you come outside of your thought, when you come into the quiet space. This is the healing, the meditation, the quiet space. This is the healing. This is when the body heals. This is how we raise up our frequency. This is how we raise up our vibration. Is with the stillness. Meditation is the foundation. As above, so below. There are 7 levels of spirit. As we quiet the mind, we step into the spirit space. As we go deeper into the spirit, we go higher and higher and higher into the spirit. We bring our physical body and mind into contact with our spirit self. We practice the meditation to bring ourselves to the highest frequency and vibration. This is the most healing that we can do for ourselves and our lives. This is how we heal our bodies and our lives. Meditation is the foundation. Yoga is the union of body, mind, and spirit. As above, so below, so within. As within, so without. Now, yoga, we're stretching out the body. We're connecting to the body. You may feel resistance. Understand. Use your mind. Use logic. Every cell in your body is 3 months, 6 months, 1 year old. Every cell in your body is 3 months, 6 months, 1 year old. Brand new. All of the cells are brand new. Trillions of cells being replaced every day. Every day. Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions likely, are replaced every day. At the end of the year, they've all been replaced. Everything is no more than a year old. The only thing that's getting old is the mind, because we're always stuck in the mind. We need to try to meet more of our life with the quietness, with the stillness, rather than analyzing things, rather than being stuck in the mind. We need to turn everything over to the spirit. We need to learn how to do this. We need to break the paradigms of thought that are keeping us trapped. We need to change our minds. We need to let go of mind. Just meet everything with the spirit. Well, what's the spirit? The meditation. What's the meditation? The quiet space in between thoughts. We need to meet everything instead of with an agitated thinking mind, with a quiet mind. Just trusting. It's happening. It's not bad or good. Why do bad things happen? They don't. We think that bad things happen. We think that what's happening is bad. It's a mind thing that's making them bad. We need to change the mind, right? To heal the body and life, we need to change the mind. So why does the spirit create bad things? I can't tell you for sure. Nobody can tell you for sure. Infer, though. The spirit is trying to create something. The spirit wants to create. I don't know why. It does. It wants to create. And it wants to love. It is love. It is love. It is love and light. And it wants to create. Why? I don't know. It's love and light, and it wants to create because it wants to feel the physical. I don't know. It wants to feel the physical. So it creates. It creates us. And if it was to create something and be aware the whole time, then it would know what it was creating. Just inference. I don't know this. I'm just inferring it from my meditations. If it's creating something, if it wants to create something physical and it wants to experience life, the only way it could do it and experience life would be to create a creature, create a being that has its own independent will, a mind. And the spirit, the light and the love, creates a being that has its own independent mind, and it allows it to get lost in life. Sickness, disease, unhappiness, trauma, problems, financial problems, and relationship problems, and see problems all around. Why does it do it? It creates a wilderness for this mind to get lost in. Why does it do it? It creates a wilderness for this mind to get lost in. And everyone's free to choose. You can stay in the wilderness that you're in. You can choose to stay in the wilderness that you're in. Or you can choose to realize who and what you are. You are spirit. You can choose with your mind to study and learn the laws that are here, that are given to us. You can find them. And if you are really looking, seeking, you will find them. If you really want to, you'll find the way back. And this, in my mind, is what creation wants you to do. Is it puts you into the physical reality, into the three-dimensional reality. It helps you get lost so that you can use your own personal intention, your own choice, your own free will to find your way back to the spirit. And that is creating a being that chooses to come back to the light, chooses to come back to health, chooses to come back to wholeness. That's the choice that you have, to come back to your love, to come back to your light, to come back to your joy, to come back to your perfection that is within you. It's your choice to do that. You got to use your logic. You got to choose. You got to seek it. You got to find it. You got to educate yourself, re-educate. You got to unlearn what you've learned. You got to break the paradigms. You got to meditate on the true spiritual principles to find your way back to what makes most sense, because there's no manual for this life. There's no way to know for sure. Yoga is the union of body, mind, and spirit. You are a body, mind, and spirit, a collection of cells. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year old, science tells us, only the mind is getting old. Unless you choose, and that's your right, you have that right. I can't make you change your mind. If you choose to live out your life just as the mainstream population wants you to, and just get old and gain weight and get fat and get sick and have pain, and that's natural, you can choose that. That's your right. You have that right. We all do. It's not right or wrong to live anything you want. But if you want to, in my mind, whatever you choose, in my mind, looking at the information, looking at the study that's out there, it only makes sense to me that what creation wants me to do is it wants me to come back to the love and light and joy and happiness and health that's within me. It wants me to recognize that it's within me, that it's my power and that it's my choice, and that I can choose it, and I can be with it, and I can be with it in the stillness, beyond the thought. Now in yoga, I get into the position, and just like life, I get into positions or circumstances or situations that sometimes are uncomfortable. Same like yoga. Sometimes you get into a position, a posture that's uncomfortable. Well, every situation I should be able to breathe in. Doesn't that make sense? I can't live without breath. I should be able to breathe here. Why can't I breathe in this position? The same when I get into life. Sometimes I get into situations where I hold my breath. I get anxious. I need to breathe. Like the Buddha, I need to breathe. I need to watch the breath. I need to take full breaths. I need to get into the position. I need to take full breaths. This is what we do in the yoga. We get into the position and we breathe. We get into the position and we breathe. Just like meditation, we get into the position and we breathe. Now, sometimes we get into a position where we feel tightness, lack or limitation inside the body. Some tightness. What is that tightness? Let me propose to you that tightness is you. That tightness is your fear, your anxiety, your frustration, your anger, your control, your jealousy, your pain. It's your pain. Your frustration, your anger is your emotional pain. The physical pain is the physical manifestation of your frustration, of your anger. It's a thought of frustration and anger that manifests as an emotion that comes into a feeling inside of your body. As within, so without. First manifestation that you create is inside your body. First, you create pain in your body. You get into a position, what's that tightness there? That's me. That tightness is me. I need to speak to it. I need to get into that position. I need to get into that yoga position, and I need to breathe, and I need to communicate with that tightness. I need to speak to it. I need to have a relation with it. It's me. When I was a child, I used to just express my emotions. As an adult, I can't, because I got to work, and I got to be a husband, and I got to be a father, and I got to do things. As a child, I would have expressed it. I need to express the emotions that are trapped in my body. If I don't express them, they'll become sickness, illness, and disease. And that's your choice. If you don't want to heal your body in life, you don't have to. That's your choice. You can seek out the answers and find them, or you cannot. That's your choice. My seeking seems to teach me that the first manifestation is within the body. The thought creates the emotion. The emotion gets stuck in the body and creates the physical pain. If I don't correct the physical pain, it becomes a sickness, illness, or disease. As I age, it gets worse. I have a replacement hip or a replacement knee trying to solve the problem. I take painkillers or antidepressants or something trying to solve the problems. These don't solve the problems. Until I express and free the emotions, they stay trapped. Until I have a relationship with them and they trust and come up again, trauma has scared me into little spots inside of my body. Fear and trauma. This happened to me, so I don't want to express myself anymore. So I huddle myself down into my hips, my digestive system, my pancreas, my liver. I get diseases if I don't allow it to come out and be free. I need to get into the position. I need to be with the tightness. I need to be with the pain. I need to sit with it. I need to speak with it when I'm alone in my meditation. I need to say, little child, I understand what went wrong. I understand I was lost and I didn't understand what was going on. And now I understand what's happened. I understand why I was afraid. I understand why I was scared. I couldn't pay my bills. I was worried about taking care of my family. I was worried about paying my bills. I was worried about keeping a house, paying for the house and having food for everybody. I was worried about sustaining myself. I was worried about staying alive. So I just tabled the frustration or anger or sorrow or jealousy or rage or whatever I had. I just put it down inside of my body and I didn't deal with it. And I hid myself down inside. And what I need to do now is I need to connect back with it. I need to get into the position. I need to get into the circumstance or situation where I feel the resistance, the lack or limitation in my life. I need to get into it and I need to invite it up. I need to say, come up. Like I want you to come up. Like I want that darkness to come up. I want that shadow to come up. I want that pain, that jealousy, that anger, that frustration, all of it, whatever's hidden. I want it all that's hidden, the low frequency, low vibration, dense emotions that are trapped in my body. I want them to come up. I want them to come up and be free now. I understand that I was afraid, but now I want you to come up and be expressed. I want you to come up to the light. The love and the light is the spirit. I want to connect to it and I want to bring it up to the love and the light. I want to bring it up into my meditation. I bring it up into my meditation by getting into the position, connecting with the tightness, speaking to it, building a relationship with it, breathing into it, asking it to come up and be expressed and be released, asking it to leave my body and life, communicating with it. Little child, come up. It's okay. Come up now. Tightness in my hips, tightness in my neck and shoulders and back. Come up. Be free now. Come up. Let me see you. Let me understand the thoughts that are associated. Let me feel you. Let me express you. Let me let you go. I invite those things up into my life. And I understand that if I'm inviting those things up, that they're going to come up and I'm going to feel maybe melancholy, low energy. And that's okay. It needs to be expressed. It needs to be felt. And by feeling it and being in it, I recognize, it's okay. Sadness is a part. Low frequency emotions are a part. Low frequency spirit and high frequency spirit. Even low frequency spirit would be higher than mind, but still of lower frequency spirit, and then there'd be higher frequency spirit. Low frequency emotion can't be bad. As above, so below. We have to be able to sit with the sadness. We have to be able to sit with the sorrow. Creation gives us sorrow, gives us pain. It's a part of life. It's a part of sending us down into the wilderness. And it's a part of us choosing with our free will to come back to the light, to come back to the happiness and the joy, the highest frequency. It's our health to come back to the highest frequency, to bring ourselves back, to unlearn what we have learned, to let go of the sadness and the sorrow and the low frequency vibrations. And that's our power and ability, our magical power and ability to change our minds, to not see it as a trauma, to not see it as a bad thing, but to see it as a gift that led us there so that we can come back. Because when we're there, we're in pain and unhappiness. And when we come back, we feel so much more joy because we've been there and we've learned how to come back. That is the rejoicing. I'm back to the light. That's the, oh yes, the blessing. Now I love the light. Now I love my life because I found my way back and it makes sense to me. This is freedom. This is the magic of creation. This is the magic of the all. This is the joy and the happiness and the health that's within. This is what we bring to the meditation. This is yoga. This is the union of body, mind, and spirit. This is aligning with your spirit. This is coming into your true passion. This is what's inside of me and coming up inside of me. This is my true passion. This is my joy. This is my teaching. This is me. This is me loving myself. I love me. I love you. I am loving myself. I do that all of the time. I spend time in meditation. I choose the right thoughts and words as much as I can. I exercise. I breathe. I choose the right foods. I get out into the sun. I put my feet on the ground. All of this is how I heal my life. And that's my choice. I can go down the path to aging and disease and pain and destruction and separation. If I choose, that's my choice. And I can go to death and come back again and choose the other way if I want, or I can choose death again and again and again if I like. This is creation. It's my choice to create heaven or create hell for me. That's my choice. What a magical gift the all has given us. This is my message for you today, for this week. This is my yoga. This is my teaching. This is my union. This is my learning. Have yourself a super day.